A lot to get to in these NBA highlights as we head towards the All-Star break. We also had the trade deadline happen, but it starts with the Seattle Supersonics, who have been struggling, and many were calling for the firing of Tom Winter.
No surprise why. The Sonics are sitting 9-37 here in their second season back in existence, and were the worst record in the league last year, and nothing much changing here. And soon enough the news came that Tom Winter had been dismissed, and they promoted assistant coach Roger Rush after losing their 11th consecutive game to the lowly Sacramento Kings. Golden State Warriors picked up a victory against the Boston Celtics, who have been struggling, but look at the game from Steph Curry. 51 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 9 of 11 from deep. Also hit all 10 of his free throws. A big-time dunk by Russell Westbrook, rising up and throwing it down all over Marc Gasol. Holiday loses the ball. It's taken away by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Here comes Ben Simmons. Up to Embiid. Joel Embiid throws it down. The Sixers leading at 47-23. Based on All-Star voting, James Harden beats out LeBron James by just 4,000 votes to become a captain. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the captain for the East, so it'll be Team Giannis against Team James, and they would be drafting their players very soon. The All-Star pool, of course, some players. This will be taking place at Krispy Kreme Center in Virginia Beach. The big one, John Collins, making it onto the roster. He's had an excellent year in Atlanta. Some people, as you see, Lord Jude, one of the people who wasn't too happy with that, but John Collins gets on the roster, and soon we will be sharing the full roster. You see LeBron James was the number 1 overall pick. Two of the other surprises, Miles Bridges, the hometown hero, gets there for Virginia Beach, and Trae Young makes his first All-Star game in his 3rd season with the Hawks. LeBron James takes the ball away from Anunoby the other way. James throws it up, and Kyle Kuzma with the jam. LeBron, the alley-oop to Kuzma. The Lakers are dominating Toronto. First deal at the deadline, Jahlil Okafor, who has had a career resurgence with the Pelicans on a 1-year deal, is acquired from the Pels to go to Washington to pair up with Beal, Wall, and Zion in exchange for Udonis Haslem and a top 10 protected pick in the upcoming draft. LeBron, oh, what a dunk! James, all over McGee. Let's make sure they're both okay. Both very slowly getting up off the ground, but James looks to be alright. McGee might just be there for sheer embarrassment. Look at James. Drives around 8-2 more and just murders JaVale McGee. And Davis fighting forward. Canner goes to Adams. Now here's Roberson. Roberson, quick pass. Russell Westbrook lays it up and in. The Thunder lead by 17 here against the best team in the NBA. Adams puts in the final free throw. No chance. 5-point game. LeBron will just throw it up, but the Thunder starting to cool off a little bit to pick up a huge win here against the Lakers. Here's Kyrie, guarded by Daniels. Irving with a little bit of a stiff arm spin move, lays it up through the paint, gets it in. Around Ante Zizic. What a finish for Kyrie. Trade deadline day. Let's show you all the action. The first one here, the Thunder making a deal. Andre Roberson, not much of an offensive guard. The defensive specialist heads to the Pelicans along with a 2nd-round pick in exchange for Etuan Moore, who's had a solid offensive year with the Pelicans. Pelicans really struggling, 2nd worst record in the NBA. They were the biggest sellers here. JaVale McGee, fresh off getting posterized by the King, gets traded to Toronto. The Raptors, after nearly making it to the finals in last year's season sim, after losing out on that Game 7 buzzer beater by Gordon Hayward, they've been struggling, and at this point sitting 7th in the East. They send away Ian Clark and a 2nd-round pick for JaVale McGee to give them some help down low. A big 3-team trade. The Clippers send away Lou Williams back to his old stomping grounds in Atlanta. Clippers and Hawks both having really good years. Clippers 2nd in the West, Hawks 4th in the East. Rajon Rondo, who's had a nice year in Cleveland, the veteran point guard, goes to LA, while Taurean Prince gets shipped over to the Cavs. One of the bigger deals of the deadline here, the Clippers get more help. They bring in Isaiah Thomas, a veteran, and Brook Lopez, both of them with lots of postseason experience from Denver, who has struggled. Nuggets get Dwight Howard, Rodney McGruder, and a top 10 protected 2022 pick. The Brooklyn Nets made a deal to acquire guard Bruce Brown from the Pistons for Dazan Musa and a second-round pick in 2022. The Nets needed some defensive help, allowing the second most points in the NBA. Probably the biggest deal of the trade deadline. The Bucks decide to part ways with Eric Bledsoe, who of course has had a huge year with them, and Ersan Ilyasova, who has been a staple to the team for years. But they bring in Jrue Holiday, who has had a huge year with the Pelicans and has team control continued. Of course, giving up Bledsoe is key, but Holiday is a star player. They bring him in along with Yante Maten, a young forward, and a first-round pick. Giving up Bledsoe and Ilyasova, the Bucks want to win now, and with a healthy Jimmy Butler, now have a core big three with Butler, Antetokounmpo, and Jrue Holiday. Important to note that New Orleans bought out Eric Bledsoe's contract, making him a free agent, meaning that any team could pick up that 4-year, $70 million salary, but of course a lot of talent there. A lot of people were surprised that the Bucks decided to make that move and send away Eric Bledsoe, who's had a pretty stellar year and has actually been averaging more points than Holiday, but over the career, Holiday the much better point guard. But another big trade here, the Hawks continuing the action. They bring in Tobias Harris. He got shipped to Houston last year to be part of their championship team, but he goes from the Pelicans to Atlanta for DeAndre Jordan, Isaac Humphries, and a first-round lottery-protected pick, so the Pelicans getting all kinds of draft picks. The Mavericks, hovering around the playoff bubble in the West, acquire Kelly Olynyk, the leading scorer for the Supersonics this season, in exchange for Dwight Powell and a second-round pick. Seattle also agreed with a deal with their Pacific Northwest counterparts, the Portland Trail Blazers, as former Blazer Wesley Matthews goes back to Portland along with Markieff Morris in exchange for Myers Leonard and a 2021 first-round pick that is top 3 protected. So the Sonics get a big early draft pick in exchange for giving up 2 very talented players. And the Knicks, hovering in the playoff picture, made a move. They bring in Derrick Rose from the Hornets. He was considered one of the top prospects at the deadline. He and Marshawn Brooks go to the Knicks in exchange for Dennis Smith Jr., Emmanuel Mudiay, and a first-round pick that came from the Mavericks last year in the Porzingis trade. And Milwaukee was not done. They get themselves another forward, Amari Spellman from the Hawks, in exchange for Trent Mayo and J.R. Smith. At the same time, the 2 all-star teams were drafted. You can see which players are on which teams. Just wrapping it up, the starters on Team James are James Harden, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and his teammate Joel Embiid, while Team Giannis goes with the Greek Freak Steph Curry, Kawhi, Paul George, and John Wall. Some notables, John Collins, Trae Young, first all-star appearances. Same goes for Miles Bridges, Jason Tatum. DeMarcus Cousins also back in the all-star game after a good year with Philadelphia. Lakers in Memphis, you look at the final seconds here, and Anthony Davis gets space in the corner for 3, and the Lakers with a huge three-pointer to tie things up with just 6 seconds to go. And in overtime, a chase-down block from LeBron James. The Lakers going the other way with it. Enes Kanter, awkward pass to James, goes back to Kanter, and Kanter hits from 3 to give the Lakers a 3-point advantage. Lakers won that game in OT. Now the Knicks and Houston, Derrick Rose making his New York debut, is returned to the Knicks, and he starts it off there with a nice basket off the bench. Bucks in Orlando now, and it's Jrue Holiday making his team debut as Jimmy Butler knocks it away. Holiday gets the steal, and Jrue Holiday goes coast to coast for the lay-in for his first points as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks were dominating and steamrolling Orlando, who were the second worst team in the Western Conference. Here, Holiday with the lob to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is quickly fitting in with the Milwaukee culture, and the Bucks dominated this one. 126-99 at this point. Jimmy Butler, right off an inbound, puts it in. The Bucks cruise to a huge victory. Meanwhile, Barracuda's taking on Washington. Watch Zion Williamson going coast to coast, nearly splits the double team. Then he does on the fake, and then the up and under slam. The rookie impressing. Later in the game, 50 seconds left, tied at 105. Rudy Gay flicks it out. Miles Bridges again here hits a 3. No look by the end, just turning around and celebrating. Bridges with another huge game for Virginia Beach. The Thunder and the Clippers matching up, the debut for Isaiah Thomas as well as Brook Lopez, with LA. Thomas with the rebound, and here comes Isaiah Thomas in the first Clipper possession. Gets it over to Gilgeous-Alexander. Back to Thomas. Thomas straight on three. Welcome to Lob City. Isaiah Thomas, three-pointer. First points of the night for the Clippers. Here is Rondo with it. Rondo over to Brook Lopez. Lopez looking over, tries the three and puts it in on the assist from Rajon Rondo. Two more new Clippers contributing. Clippers still without the services of Danilo Gallinari and Chris Middleton, who have both been hurt for a while. As Leonard puts it in and the foul on Paul George. What a finish by Kawhi. That jumper won't go. Rebound by Zubac. Here come the Clippers the other way, leading by 12. Rondo splits the double team, lays it up over Westbrook. It's good.
So we mentioned Eric Bledsoe's contract was bought out.
The Pacers will take on the 4-year, $70 million salary to partner him with Oladipo and Brogdon and Miles Turner. Pacers 5th in the East and trying to make a playoff push. Warriors and Dallas. Kelly Olynyk here with a nice cross-court pass to Tim Hardaway Jr., who makes the spin move and lays it in over Alfonso McKinney. Golden State has been in a mess heading into the All-Star break. A huge matchup. Best in the East, best in the West. LeBron and the Lakers against Ben Simmons and the Sixers. With it is Simmons. Sixers in throwback. Simmons takes the other way along the baseline and he throws it down. Lakers defense had nothing for Ben Simmons. Here comes LA with it. LeBron James guarded by Simmons. Inside, Davis puts it up, throws it down, and the foul against DeMarcus Cousins. Anthony Davis, what a play. Carter Williams here gets it over to Caruso. Carter Williams strips it from Brewer. Now Wagner inside. Carter Williams drives in and throws it down. The Lakers are up by double digits here in the second quarter. Cousins with it. Over to Ben Simmons. Simmons at the three-point line. Drives in. Cousins gets free off the pick and roll and throws it down. The Sixers are back within 2. Quick little 13-4 run here from Philly. Thompson gets free. Drives. Free throw line. No good off the back iron. Rebound Thibault. He'll chuck one up beyond half court. Almost gets it to fall, but that'll end an exciting first half with the Lakers leading by 4. Caldwell Pope. Dribbles. Inside, lays it up, puts it in and a foul on the finger roll. The Sixers have the lead, 60-58. A slam right there by Ben Simmons, 80-77. No shot. Actually, LeBron will throw it up and it won't go. And that'll end the third quarter with the Sixers leading by 3 at Staples Center. A possible NBA Finals preview here on full display as James gets past Simmons and throws it down in the foul. Another impressive jam by LeBron. This time it's all over Boogie Cousins. Simmons. That pass is picked up by Anthony Davis. The brow ahead to LeBron James. Had to stop a little. Now he's going to drive. LeBron the spin move. Puts it up, lays it up, and it's good. LeBron James on the assist from Anthony Davis. 1:25 to go. Simmons, James playing some great defense. Sixers being very stagnant. Embiid puts it up, rolls it in. Off the front of the rim and good. 18 seconds. What will the Lakers do? Down by 4. It's Thompson, and that one is blocked by Caldwell Pope. Embiid grabs it, and that might just about do it. Frank Vogel was livid that no foul was called. Same with Klay Thompson. Second free throw, no good. Just got to make sure they don't allow a contact on a three. Thompson tries to lean into Bogdanovich. No good regardless. And the Sixers will win by 4. And in a potential finals preview, the Clippers hand the Lakers just their 9th loss of the season to drop them to 44-9. And Philly takes it by 4. Here comes Milwaukee with it. Tony Snell ahead. Holiday steps back, tries the 3. It's good. Jrue Holiday shooting the ball really well tonight for Milwaukee. Hawks, this new lineup debuting here. Collins, fellow All-Star, sets a screen for Trae Young. Young drives in. Harris feeds it out. Lou Williams tries a 3, and Lou Williams back in Atlanta hits a 3. Here comes Young with it. Another screen set this time by Looney. Young right under the basket, feeds it out. Lou Williams. Collins, nice passing. Harris comes over, tries a 3, and now he hits from deep. Both new Atlanta Hawks players hitting 3s back-to-back. Griffin gets around, lays it up. No. Drummond, the rebound. Head fake on Adebayo. Now we'll throw it down hard. Oh, what a jam by Andre Drummond and the foul against Bam. So the All-Star break is upon us. We'll have highlights of all the All-Star events, the Rising Stars Challenge, 3-point and slam dunk contests, and of course the All-Star game. The Sixers currently lead the East by a game and a half over Brooklyn. Then you've got Milwaukee third, Atlanta 10 games above 500, and then it's a bit of a drop-off, and it starts with the Pacers at 28 and 27, and the Raptors sitting at 500. Seventh in the conference are the Celtics, who are shockingly, they've lost 7 of their last 10 games. They've struggled at home, just 500 at home. And they're 28 and 29. This is defending Eastern Conference champions. The Pistons currently hold the last playoff spot, a game above Washington, 2 games above the Knicks, and 3 above Virginia Beach and Chicago, with Miami, Cleveland, Orlando, and Charlotte chasing below. Out west, the Lakers are cruising at 47 and 10. They've got the Clippers still right on their heels. The Clippers playing really well. The two teams that call Staples Center home are a combined 45 and 8 there in LA. The Clippers just 2 games back. The defending champion Rockets hanging there with good years from Paul and Harden. The Thunder dropped off a little bit, but a couple of big wins, including that one against the Lakers to sit 39 and 16. The Timberwolves playing well in 5th place. Portland is 6th. Both those teams really struggled last year, having nice turnarounds. The Warriors lost 8 out of 10 entering the break. They had a really nice start to the season. They were at 21 and 8 at one point, and since then they have gone 9 and 19 following the Kevin Durant trade. They have played decent, but they've been fading, and they're 30 and 27 right now. The Spurs currently hold the 8th seed with coach Tim Duncan. Dallas is just outside, a game back. Utah 2 back, then Phoenix, and then it really drops off to Sacramento, and then some of those teams further back, including Memphis. And then you've got Denver, New Orleans, and Seattle at the very back. Seattle at 10 and 47, 37 games back of the Lakers.